This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Hear that? That's now Crispy and McCrispy strips meeting Creamy Caesar sauce. Sounds extra crispy. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro Cat Food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
Context really matters when we're breaking down training camp and the stats and the reports from training camp with the Eagles. Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, the fastest under 10-minute Eagles podcast. There is covering news, notes, and opinions on your favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. You can find it two different places, the Eagles Pinpull Podcast Network in audio format, so make sure you like and share and follow along in those platforms, or the STT Sports Network on YouTube for video format. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, and make sure you like and do all the things you do. I'm your man, Phil Stiefel. Day 5 of Eagles training camp wrapped up. First day of pads, and the key word, because every day we've talked about a word of the day. And Tuesday's word of the day is context. Context matters when we're breaking these things down. And this is why. Look, let's talk about what we saw, or what we were told, what the reporters saw. And obviously, Jalen Hurts did not have a crisp statistical, if you care about the stats, day, going 6 of 14 with 1 interception, right? But context matters. Devontae Smith did not participate in practice, hamstring. Mekhi Lemon did not participate, hamstring. Still, no Lane Johnson. When they ran red zone drills, the only regulars that were on the field, Dallas Goedert, Dontavian Wicks, Saquon Barkley, and Tyler Steen. The other 6 guys were all backups. Jalen Hurts spent a lot of time on Tuesday working with the backups. And you can clearly see the difference going up against the ones. This great Eagles defense than with these backups. So let's get to it. Obviously, Devontae Smith out with a hamstring. Eagles are not concerned there. I'm a little concerned that Mekhi Lemon has got another hamstring issue. He left practice early yesterday and was limited and didn't practice at all today, was out in the field. But now he missed most of OTAs with hamstring issue. Now he's got it back. And again, the Eagles say not concerned, but this is a rookie we're talking about that's got a lot to learn and to get on the same page. And he's falling behind big time. Just in general, Darius Cooper and Dontavian Wicks have looked good throughout most of training camp and did look good at times again on Tuesday. Andy Dalton connecting with Cooper on a big play in red zone drills with the second unit. Let's be honest, actually, Darius Cooper, outside of Devontae Smith, might actually be the second best wide receiver in training camp so far. But the rest of the wide receiver room, Quez Watkins, Britton Covey, Johnny Wilson, all have not looked good at all and are not getting on the same page with any of the quarterbacks. Johnny Wilson right now, if I had to pick, is my last man off the roster, not making the roster at this point. So it's concerning there. But it's training camp, so it is what it is. Andy Dalton looking better than Tanner McKee. While Tanner McKee started with the number 2s, Andy Dalton took over. Tanner McKee holding onto the football too long, just not looking good. Early predictions. Andy Dalton is going to make the roster over Tanner McKee. That's an early prediction, but and probably won't hold, but it is what it is. Let's go down the rest of this list of notes. The safeties have been the star, and we're the star on Tuesday. Drew Makuba, Marcus Epps, and Michael Carter in a safety role, all making big plays. Michael Carter had an interception. Drew Makuba is a name I'm hearing pop up a lot of making pretty big plays on the defense right there. Markel Bell got a majority of the first-team reps at right tackle in place of Lane Johnson, if you're keeping track of that. What was the other thing I was just going to say? I just lost my train of thought right there. Anyway, pre-snap penalties, that was an issue. Pre-snap penalties and illegal motions holding the Eagles back. Now, we expect that at first. It's a new offense, lots of new calls, lots of new learning, and different players coming and going in practice. But they got to get that cleaned up. And it's only the first week of practices, only the fifth training camp practice, but it's something we're going to want to see them talk about less and less on a regular basis. Darius Cooper had some big plays, as you would expect. He did leave practice with what was some kind of a left arm injury, but he looked to be okay. He came in at number 38 on the top 100 NFL players list, ahead of Quinion Mitchell, who was, 47th or 48th last week. Goes to show, and I've said this before, while Quinion Mitchell might be one of the best and brightest young lockdown corners in football, Cooper DeJean might be a more important player because he does so many other things. He plays safety, outside, inside corner, willing to stop the run, can blitz the quarterback. He's more of a well-rounded Malcolm Jenkins type defensive player on this defense, and it shows in the voting for the top 100 players. Michael Clay spoke before practice, talked about his big goal and big job this training camp is helping Jake Elliott regain his confidence, swagger, and reminding him on a daily basis why he became one of the best kickers in football, and didn't like the way he carried himself mentally, with the struggles he had last year. So that's a big part of his job this offseason and this training camp is getting Jake Elliott back to who he is, one of the best kickers in football. Two little NFL notes for you. Bijan Robinson is now the highest paid running back in the NFL, signing a 3-year, $75 million extension, $51 million guaranteed. He's the only running back on an annual salary higher than Saquon Barkley right now. And the Baltimore Ravens signed wide receiver Zay Flowers to a 4-year, $140 million deal, 108 guaranteed. On these two deals, one, the Falcons with Bijan Robinson. Look, he's a talented player, deserves the money. He is their peak of their offense right there. They obviously have Drake London and Kyle Pitts as well, but they do things ass backwards in Atlanta. No quarterback, no offensive line, no defense, but let's pay all these skilled players and continue to be a very average at best team. And with Baltimore on Zay Flowers, maybe I don't know. Zay Flowers, $140 million? Is his guaranteed money is more than what Devontae Smith is making per year. Not counting guarantees. Just counting the whole thing. It's crazy. Howie Roseman's got to really start thinking long and hard what he's going to do with Devontae Smith and how he's going to extend him, because the dude's going to get paid a big paycheck when it's all said and done. So that's what I got for you today. Everybody have a great day. We'll be back with Wednesday's practice recap tomorrow. But till then, go Birds, guys. Context matters. And always, bubbles up.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Hear that? That's now Crispy and McCrispy strips meeting creamy Caesar sauce. Sounds extra crispy. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro Cat Food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.